Hey there guys, it's Nolan and Jason here with Plumbing Webmasters.
Howdy.
Going to talk about a strong plumbing brand equaling high conversion rates. And I hope that people stay with us on this one real quick, because this is a little deeper than what people think about. I'm going to talk about it from the marketing perspective as it equates to the consumer converting, and as it equates to their optimization and ability to show up in the first place.
Right.
They all tie together at this point. I have a hard time talking about branding anymore without talking about both of them at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're intrinsically linked. You can't really separate them.
So from an algorithmic standpoint on Google, if the brand's not strong, you don't show up in ranking.
Right.
So branding is ranking in the first place, and if you don't show up,
brand signals are a huge part of local ranking.
So let's define brand signaling. I'm going to give some. If you think of any others, feel free. But it'd be your website, your design, your name of your URL, like it's Bob's Plumbing Service, and it says Bob's Plumbing Service. The URL is Bob's Plumbing Service. It's called topically relevant. It matches up with user intent, makes the brand stronger in the category, ties into the Google Business Profile name, which ties into latent semantic indexing, and topical relevance, which makes stuff show up in mapping.
Right.
So as stuff interlaces with a proper name, Bob's Contracting Service is a horrible name, for example, because it doesn't allow the search engine to buy into the topical relevance with the user intent and therefore show up in ranking.
Right.
So the
people rarely say, hey, I need a contractor.
Right.
They say, hey, I need a plumber.
This isn't a problem typically in the plumbing space. Other contractors try to use other words than what their business is. Plumbers usually say,
I'm a plumber.
We're plumber.
Every once in a while, you'll get one that says something like leak detection or rooter.
All right,
which a lot of people think is great. It sucks.
Rooter is with Google. Google thinks rooter is, and because public perception of rooter is clogs and drain cleaning.
Right.
And so the origin of rooter was clogs and drain cleaning, but we all know that today that rooter companies do most other plumbing.
Yeah.
But if they try to optimize for most other plumbing, they are literally at a deficit starting out, because the name doesn't have the word plumber, which doesn't tie into the user intent as well, which literally makes their stuff not show up as well in ranking.
Right.
And so we're off a little bit, but we're not. The words of the company have to do with user intent. Google has something called LSI, or latent semantic indexing, which is their version of synonyms, basically.
Yeah.
Which is
synonyms and associated words and phrases.
Yes, it's more of the genre of words, because if they're a plumber, then they think they do all this other stuff. Makes it easier to optimize, makes it better for user intent. Now, the other side of branding is digital footprint and multimedia. So design and content and Google account, but also maybe social media accounts or a YouTube account.
Yeah, social media, other kind of listings.
Reviews and reputation, well, citations.
Citations,
yeah.
And you can reinforce those through My Baby Schema. There's a schema property where you can go in, like you're doing your local business schema setup, and you can say, there's a schema property called Same As, and then you can list all of those directories under Same As, and that says all of
like
these are also me.
Okay.
And then you've got it tied together, and you're telling the search engine that with that same name and that same information, and this one with that same name and that same information in schema, and you're reinforcing all of that information.
When you said My Baby Schema, I thought it was a new type of schema until I realized it was your baby. So I didn't even know that, really, that last portion of it. How
we use it.
We use it?
Yeah, we always have. or for the last
Check
4
done.
years.
Yeah.
Way before anybody else, thank you.
Thank you, I'm brilliant. Yeah, I didn't know. That's great, though. I didn't know we did that.
Yeah. But yeah, you could.
Is that new?
No, it's been around for a while, but it wasn't getting used much.
I can't learn all this stuff. It's crazy how much we do here for the client.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all that little detail that he's talking about, Jason's arguably one of the foremost experts on schema code.
I don't know if I got that far,
at least in our category, you are.
Okay. I'll take that one.
In contracting, you are. In contract, there's other people that probably get into the code bases schema more than you can write code for it. But he was one of the first guys working on this for contractors.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Because
nobody had it.
Probably when we started using it, we were kind of ahead of the curve, and there was this probably 3-year period where you would had me look at an incoming client, look at their old site, and check, and it's like no schema, or the schema has only the most basic information and could be expanded by 100 points or something like that.
Yeah, we did it before Google gave credit for it.
Yeah,
which was frustrating. But anyway, so all these things start to tie into your digital brand. Google gives points for it and says, oh, nice website, nice schema code, citations hooked up well. Nice reviews and reputation management. Reviews on Google platform, but also on BBB and Facebook and other ones. And then as they tie that brand together, Google shows you up in ranking better. But there's something else that really we've begun to notice recently. If the brand doesn't have strong presence on website, maybe personalization seems to work really well, pictures of the family or crew. Reviews and reputation on a few platforms, let's just say at least Google and Facebook, or Google and BBB or Google Face. So people online now, and this is what the topic of this one meant more, but I wanted to bring up the other stuff because it relates directly to how you show up in Google if you show up. Otherwise, it doesn't matter, but still tied to branded signaling. And branded signaling to me kind of is SEO at this point, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the high conversion rate comes in. You can have somebody showing up in ranking, and if they don't have reviews or reputation and other ways where people can click, 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 go, oh, picture of the crew. Oh, I feel comfortable. Reviews, let's check Facebook. Boom, done. Then they convert. If you don't have that stuff, they don't even call you.
Yeah.
You know.
And it should also be pointed out that the reason this brand signaling became a ranking factor is because Google looks at that user behavior.
Good point, yeah.
And they say, oh, people don't want to see this guy that doesn't have all that validation across their brand. So they incorporated that into their brand signaling.
I have never
what they started showing.
articulated that one before, but that's absolutely correct. That's probably why they don't show up in the first place, because the user intent wants to see the branded reach of the company before they make their move.
Yeah. People will look at your website, look at your social media presence and all that, trying to decide if you're the right choice.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's a little different when you got somebody and it's 2 a.m. and they're standing in 3 feet of water. They're probably just going to hit the one at the top.
It is.
But if it's anything else, and even for the emergency situation, you still need all this for Google to show you in the first place.
I'd like to say, especially for a plumber, people scared of plumbers. They're scared of having a plumber come out, and they want to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So if they can feel comfortable by seeing smiling people that isn't stock photography, they know it's them. They see happy people. Oh, these people liked them. They got reviews. Let's go check the BBB or something else, which not to use any one of them, but just a couple of things.
No, I mean, BBB is actually one of the big trust ranking factors for
ranking
Google.
Signal.
That's a huge signal for Google.
Yeah.
I mean, and Google tells us that outright. That's not a supposition.
They don't.
On the part. And they don't tell us much.
They don't usually tell us, but they told us that they will rank you better if you have reviews on BBB. Because they got tired of people only getting Google reviews. They said, please get other reviews too. By the way, just so that you will actually do this, we are giving credit for other reviews.
Yeah. I talk to clients all the time. They're like, well, I only need reviews on Google, right? And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You need them across platforms. But it's Google's platform. I said, yeah, but they're trying to make it at least look like they're even-handed and fair.
Yeah.
So they want you to have them everywhere.
I don't always make a direct reference to our services, but if there was ever something to qualify why people need to use us, we do so much stuff that you don't do. People don't even know that you can't. That you can go into any town and see somebody that has hundreds of reviews that's not in Pack 3 mapping.
Right.
You're like, why aren't they in Pack 3 mapping? I don't know. Maybe they don't have any schema code, no content, never work on their site, never get any changes. They're just hordes of things that we do for people that they need in order to show up. And this all ties to all these signals and all these digital areas where the brand becomes cohesive to show up, and people don't know why it doesn't work. They may not get good services from SEO or digital marketing agency, but if you go out and you try to do one or two things in today's world, when they're looking at a whole branded signaling effort, it just doesn't tend to work well. And there's so much money left on the table just for somebody showing up here and there.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm done with that.
I wanted to make one point.
One more comment.
One of the things you were talking about earlier, how the groups of keywords and phrases, the LSI, that's also within Google referred to as an entity. And your goal for your brand should that your brand becomes an entity associated with the entity of your category. Like you are Bob's Plumber and you are associated with plumbing. And instead of just a choice of a website, you are one of the entities that they recognize as its own thing.
I'll actually go off on this a little bit. That's a great comment and thing to talk about. The past the entity on it. If someone becomes that strong of a brand, they can become, when they have all the content, we're not going to go into all this stuff on data pins and all the content, but they can get the featured rich snippet.
Yeah.
So once they become the exalted one that he's talking about, they go, this is a plumber, but this is the plumber for this area, or one of the plumbers. This is one of the guys. This platform is it. And so someone will go in and type up something that you maybe typed into a caption on a data pin on your website about ice maker shutoff valves. Actually, he is the rich snippet on that one. That guy, you know, the local guy.
Oh, really?
Anyway, so you type in a keyword and they're like, this guy's the expert. And they'll put you on what's called a featured rich snippet above the other ranking, above the mapping, above the mapping usually.
Yeah.
And
especially
above
on
the
mobile.
content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can become such a branded expert that you get featured rich snippets, and there's all kinds of other benefits. Once you get to that branded that he's talking about, you're getting daily call volume, all kinds of stuff going on.
That's now called position 0. When you're looking at Search
Really?
Console, positions 1 through 6, or organic 1 through 5.
Awesome.
Position 6 is the GMB, and the featured snippet is position 0, better than higher.
That's
than 1.
awesome. That's awesome. How long has it been called position 0?
I read an article on it about a month ago.
Okay.
So it's pretty recent that we started using that.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
See ya.
See ya.